Welcome back to the Golden Ticket Pod. We have got our first guest speaker coming on today, and this is to talk about the highs, the lows, the realities of business and life in general, and being able to actually combine business and life and know that not everything is going to be perfect all of the time, and that is actually okay. So, this is the side of the podcast where we're really bringing in the realities of business and actually having real life people with real life experiences that aren't afraid to speak the truth. So, for our first guest speaker episode, we have got Char joining us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Char. I am a content writer and creator. I basically just create content for business owners and help them essentially manage their socials. I am also looking into getting into UGC travel content as I really, really, really love traveling and I love taking pictures of things, like pretty things and stuff like that. So definitely branching into that.
I love that. I feel like you've always been such an aesthetic girl anyway, like with the whole taking pictures of things. Obviously, we've done a few shoots in our time as well. And yeah, you've always been amazing at them and everything. But it's really exciting to see how you're transitioning into the travel side of things and like actually pivoting your business in a way that actually feels aligned to you. Obviously, I know a lot of your journey and a lot of your story anyway, but would you like to share a little bit more of that for the audience, like sort of the hardest parts that you've had in business recently and how you've sort of worked through them?
hmm Yeah, so it it was started last year, like 2025, mid 2025. Everything was just going tits up, really. I sort of stopped working on myself. I didn't really understand where I was in any area of my life. I didn't really understand my business. I wasn't really sure about it. Didn't really understand my relationship. Wasn't really sure about that. Every single area of my life was just not feeling aligned at all. Um, so yeah, that was really, really hard. But I ended up going through a breakup, moving out of my partner's house, and just feeling the most lost I have ever felt in my entire life. It was a really, really difficult time. So yeah, obviously I was in the worst part of my life. And then this was actually when you were pivoting into human design as well. And when you started speaking about it, I was quite interested in it. And I know I'm not a very business analytical kind of girl. I'm not about all the numbers and stuff. I'm a bit more airy fairy. So I was like, let's give the spiritual side a go. Let me see if I can actually figure out a different way of moving through business. So I thought, I'll give it a go and learn all about my human. Obviously, we were going through the same situation as well. We were going through the same thing. So I thought, you know what? Let's see how you can help me,
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm the exact same in business as well. Like, I'm not a strategical, like, numbers driven gal. Obviously, I know that that's such an important aspect of business, but every time I'd invest in someone that would, like, make me do business that way, I just felt like I couldn't do it and couldn't comprehend it. So that's why I went into human design myself, to actually figure out what my best way of selling was, what my best strategies was, what my best decision making moves were, and all things like that. And honestly, it just completely changed the game for me. And then obviously you've done a few shoots for me as well. So we went to theme parks, and that's obviously what my business is all revolved around now. So you've done all of them shoots for me, and I feel like that probably gave you such an insight as well into what it was actually like. Because I know for me at that time, like, as much as I was going through the hardest time I've ever been through, I also felt the most like myself and felt like I could actually start expressing myself in the best way possible, because I was really tapping into who I was meant to be within my business, which then obviously, if people have listened to previous episodes before, that then led into me actually standing in my power in life as well, which 6 months later I then decided to call it quits on a relationship that I'd been in for 5.5 years, because I realised that essentially I just deserved so much more. And I know that that was very similar for you as well, in that kind of journey of things. Like, everything just felt like it was all over the place. Like, I know for you, you've had to like move around a few places as well. Obviously I had to move 2 hours away and leave everything I knew behind. So we really resonated in that sense of like going through similar but different situations at the same time. And then we literally done a human design reading to start off with, didn't we?
Yeah.
And this was like at the start of my journey. So you was like a little guinea pig of mine as well, to make sure that I was actually confident in what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
And I literally remember on that call, you was literally like, what the fuck? This makes so much sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, tell me a little bit, how did you feel on that call?
I was actually shook, I can't lie. It was insane. Some of the things that were coming out, I was like, wow, that like explains so much. Like my environments is to do with, I think, is it external markets?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense because I love spending money. I love being around
Mhm.
the cha-ching. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, working from like coffee shops and stuff makes so much sense to me. And I always get distracted at home and I always get like a bit lethargic or a bit bored. Like, I'm very easily bored. So, getting out and about where I can't really have the distractions of just relaxing and chilling, it makes so much sense. And the dark aesthetic thing as well. I'm obviously, if
Oh.
like you know who I am, like I love dark aesthetic. I'm just obsessed with it. I don't know why, but it apparently it's part of my human design. Apparently, I work better in like dimly lit areas and things like that, and that's probably why also I love dark storms. Like when the clouds like roll over and it goes all
Yeah.
a bit dark and cozy. I'm like, oh, I love this. Like this is like me.
Yeah.
And it was just so crazy. And also like jumping about from thing to thing, like being a Manny Gen, apparently my path isn't linear. That's what I know. It is like jumping from one thing to the next. And even though that's really annoying, because I'd love to just stick to something, it makes me feel less guilty for switching
Mhm.
things up when I need to. But yeah, I loved having that presentation. I thought it was wicked.
Oh, good. Yeah, honestly, like when I was reading your design, and obviously where I know you, I was like, this makes so much sense. And I know you're going to be
Mm,
like, okay, like that makes sense. Because obviously, as a manager, and like you are allowed to jump from thing to thing, like you are multi passionate. That is the whole
mhm,
point of your design. But I feel like you lean more into the generator side of things, which is what we spoke about before. Like, even when you're in alignment, when you're out of alignment, like you feel satisfaction when you're in alignment and you feel frustration when you're out of it. That's more of the generator side of things. And it was just really interesting to actually go through all of that. And like you said, with the dark aesthetic as well, that's part of your digestion. So actually, like when you're eating, and not only when you're eating will you digest the food best that way, but it's also when you're working. So we literally had a conversation, like what was it, like a month ago, and you was like, I really love working out in the garden, like, but I just get so tired and then I start procrastinating, I don't do work. So like we then looked into that side of things, and I was like, yeah, it's because actually you're not supposed to be in like brightly lit like places. And then was it like the next day that you like put the blinds down and like put a little lamp on or something like that, and you was
yeah.
like, I got so much more done.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, honestly, looking into your human design was so like, especially because you was one of my first ones, I was like, okay, this makes so much sense, and it was really insightful for the both of us, I feel like. But let's go back to business. So you mentioned feeling a little bit disconnected from your business. Can you describe to me what that disconnection actually felt like in the beginning?
Oh, it felt horrible. It felt like really lost and like I didn't really know what to do, like what to create. Like even though I've had so many different tools to help me like create content and I've got lists and lists of content ideas, I still could not do it. Like there was just
Mhm.
this big resistance to doing it. And I didn't understand why. And I was like overthinking every little thing and just, yeah, it was so hard.
Yeah, I completely get that. And then we had our call a couple of months ago where you basically was essentially telling me that you didn't feel connected to what you was doing. So like we really dove deep on what you actually wanted to do and like what you was actually really passionate about, and getting you back in that alignment, getting that spark back. I can literally remember on that call you was like, yes, like this feels so fucking good. Like I could see that spark coming back within you, because you was really questioning at that time whether to keep the business that you had for the safety reasons and because like it's what you already knew and what you was already doing, or to actually go into the path that you wanted to go into, which was more of the travel content, more of the like exploring, because that really combines both sides of what you love doing. Obviously, you love creating content, which is why you didn't want to stop the business that you was doing, where you was managing content and social media, but also like there was something that just didn't feel quite like you. And I remember on that call, like we spoke a little bit about earlier, was how the pivoting side of things felt really, really difficult for you because you felt like it was sort of like you didn't want people to think that you was like pivoting and changing again and see it in a bad light. Do you want to touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I felt like almost guilty with like
Yeah.
changing. I was like, oh my God. I was thinking too much about what other people were thinking of me. It literally goes against everything that I preach. And I was just, I was like, how can I be pivoting again? Like, how can I not be sticking to something that I thought I really, really loved? Like, it, I couldn't comprehend it. I was like, should I just stick to it and keep going? It was a really hard decision to make for sure. Um, but honestly, probably one of the best decisions I've made because like the pressure has just completely released, and now I just feel
Mhm.
so much more chilled and relaxed, and I guess happier.
Yeah, and even seeing the way that you do your content now, I feel like it's shifted a lot. Like when you, because
Um,
obviously you don't put that pressure on yourself anymore to like create the content and post the content for yourself, but it feels a lot more like relatable and like you rather than like, obviously
mm,
we loved the aesthetic before, we loved how it looked, but it was also one of them things where you was like, you wanted to change it all of the time. Whereas now it feels a lot more like you, which is actually like a massive part of your human design. So like we were speaking a little bit about like leadership and everything like that, and within your design, you're not actually supposed to be a leader as such. Like obviously everyone's a leader in their own ways, but your way of doing it is so different to some other people in business, and that's why going down this new path for you has been so important because you've gone from being that leader where you teach people to being that leader where you actually inspire people, and that's how people actually connect with you as a person on such a deeper level. And this is different for everyone. Some people are better off with being a leader where they're teaching and coaching, like me, for example. That is part of my design. But for you, going more into this like chilled lifestyle where you can like do the work for the clients, like it's really chill, like it's really good, like you have that back and forth, but there's no pressure as such. Like you've got the right aligned clients specifically for your design, which is absolutely amazing. Some people work so much better on the pressure. um,
mhm.
but yeah, I feel like that was really, really powerful as well to look into your design and really give that validation that one, it's okay to pivot and change what you're doing in business. And actually, you was just combining the two things you love most, travel and content. And combining that literally just felt so magical, like, and so you, and it just made so much sense. So doing that as well as like actually getting the validation that you don't have to sit there and teach courses and teach people how to create content, because I know you went into that a little bit at one point in your journey
Mhm.
where you created courses and stuff like that. And as much as it was amazing, because like obviously I was like looking through it as well with you, I remember you saying to me at the time that like actually recording the videos and doing the content and course itself felt a bit like disconnected from who you was as a person. And then as soon as we looked into your human design, it made so much sense because you're not actually here to teach in like a teacher way.
I don't actually think I'm a very good teacher, if I'm honest with you, but I do want to inspire people to actually just take action for themselves rather than teaching people how to do something. I just want to spark the inspiration. So, yeah, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. So when you decided to actually then do that pivot and go into what you're doing now and like working towards now, how did that sort of feel for you?
So good. Like, it just felt right, honestly, because all I want to do in life is travel. So,
Hmm.
I just thought, how can I combine these two things? Like, because I am good at creating content, I'm good at taking photos and stuff. I know I am. And I've always loved, like, I just think back to all of my travels, I've always loved taking like artsy pics and I take content everywhere I go, basically. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just made sense. It just felt so good. So right.
Yeah, it definitely made a lot of sense, didn't it? Especially in that moment. And I remember when we was on that call, you was like, do I put it out there? Like, do I say it or do I just? And I was like, no, like,
Yeah.
what are you scared of? And I remember, like, I know with you, I can give you that tough love. And I was like,
Yeah.
girl, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, just do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And I felt like that was a big thing for you as well. And like, as much as leadership, everyone sees it as teaching and all of that, that is a part of leadership itself because you're really embodying yourself and what you believe in and where you want to go in life. A little question for you is how do you feel like your version and your like what you see leadership as has changed since before and after going into your human design?
I don't think it's changed in my eyes. I do see people as like leaders. I just don't see myself as a leader. I don't know.
And do you feel like now you sort of have that validation that it's okay to not be that leader and the pressure's like taken off?
Oh yeah, massively, massively. Because I was always trying to show up as like a leader, and I was like, I want to be the best leader in this personal branding space. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then I was like, no wonder it didn't work out. No wonder if it wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. Because it's just not what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to be a leader. I'm supposed to be a
Yeah,
cute
and
girly.
exactly that. And it's like showing up in a way that isn't actually aligned to you. So that's something that I work on a lot with my clients is selling and showing up in a way that they're actually supposed to do it because I feel like in this industry and in this world in this day and age of everyone like being business owners and everything like that, it always gets taught like one specific strategy. Like there might be different people teach different strategies, but it's always like you have to do it this way if you want success, if you want to like get to 10K months, if you want to get to the best leader and all of these things, like you have to follow this exact roadmap. And actually, like I know for me personally, that was something that I really struggled with a lot in business, especially like the first few years when I was investing in people. Like I knew that they had such great knowledge. I knew that what they were saying made sense and it did work for them, probably because that is actually part of their design and how they're supposed to lead and sell and scale. But for me, it never actually worked. And then that's why I was like, no, do you know what? I'm going to tap back into my human design. And as soon as I started using my human design to run my business, I just felt so much more aligned and everything sort of felt like it fit into place. And that's why I'm so passionate about actually helping other women to understand that you don't need to follow the strategies that people actually tell you to follow. Like, it's okay to do content differently, it's okay to sell differently. Whatever is meant for you will work for you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly that.
Okay, before we work together, what did you know about human design if you knew anything about it?
I didn't actually know anything about it. I just knew it was very spiritual, I guess. Can you call it spiritual? I'm not quite sure, but I knew it was to do with like how I'm actually made up inside of me. So I was like, I need to know. I need to know because it was like the number side, the analytic side, the strategic side of business weren't working for me. So I was like, I need to try this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything you were skeptical about with it?
No, just because I am like, I'm a Stargirl lover. Yeah, I love all of that stuff. I love all the spiritual woo woo vibes. So I was like, maybe this is the way forward for me.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And that's literally like that was like the pivotal moment for me as well. Like I was just saying was how I was like, do you know what? Like this clearly isn't working. Let's actually look into how I'm actually designed to work and how I'm designed to show up
Mhm.
and be. And like when I looked into mine, everything made so much sense. And that was when I really started pivoting to this side of business, my whole life literally shifted. It was literally at the same time that my relationship started to break down. Like we nearly broke up in the summer, and then by the time Christmas come, literally like my whole life had completely shifted, and I didn't even realize it was sort of happening in that moment. And I think for some people that could probably be quite scary because I think that's why a lot of people probably put healing and mindset work off because they know it's going to bring up the things that is actually going on beneath the surface. But I don't know about for you, but for me, that was like the most powerful thing, because yes, it was scary in the moment. Yes, it was a lot, but also it's actually supported me in stepping into the version of me that I'm supposed to be. And I feel so much happier and aligned for it. And like, even just doing business in the way I'm supposed to do it, like the difference is actually insane. And like, as soon as I left that relationship, everyone was like, "You're glowing, you look amazing." Like, I literally lost like 2 stone out of nowhere. Like, I wasn't even trying. I was eating more, working out less, and I lost all that weight because my body was like, right, it's okay. It's time for you to finally release. And I just think it's so powerful. Like, when you actually step into yourself and who you're supposed to be. And I think with human design, people can probably see it as like it's putting you into a box, because like you've got all these specific parts of your design, right? But it's actually not. I feel like it opens up so many more doors and possibilities for you, and it gives you that validation to be like, okay, like it's okay for me to be like this. Do you feel like you resonate with that as well?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I feel like everything is just easier and it like flows better because I understand myself better. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes so much sense. So when we looked at your human design chart, I know I touched on this a little bit, but what was that one thing, the one specific thing in your chart that just made you sit back and think, oh, this makes so much sense, and like you feel like this stood out the most to you?
I think it's my environments for sure. Like that was the biggest thing. Um just because I know like every time I do work from home, I just struggle massively and I can never get as much done as I want to because I get so distracted. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go eat something. Oh, I'll put some TV on in the background. Oh, like it's sunny outside. Let me go sit outside. Oh, I need to go for a walk, blah, blah. But like when I put myself into an outside situation, like a coffee shop, like I mainly work from coffee shops if I go anywhere else, I just like headphones on. I'm locked in. Like I love a people watch, don't get me wrong, but I can just lock in so much easier. It just feels easier. So yeah, that was the biggest
Yeah.
thing for sure.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And anyone that's listening wondering, Char's basically an external markets environment. So that means that for you, being around like sort of service, like exchange, all things like that is really important for you, not just for like working, but just feeling in alignment with life and feeling like it actually helps you to understand and get to know yourself on that deeper level, because like you say, like you still love people watching because that's part of the environments as well, and it makes such a big difference. Like for me, I was struggling with this a little bit before as well, and I was like, I just feel like where I've moved to, like it doesn't feel like the environment here doesn't feel like home as such. And then I looked into my environment side of things and I was like, okay, it's telling me to go out. Like for me, I have to be around people. It doesn't have to necessarily be like exchanges of goods and services, but I have to be around people. I don't have to directly talk to people. Like the same as you don't have to talk to people, but just being around that situation, for me, being around those people made a big difference. So I then started to like go on more walks and stuff like that, and everything just shifted like that for me. And then a week later, I literally was going on a walk, and I was like, this is the first time I've ever felt like this place feels like home to me. And it's so powerful, like how little parts of your human design, I think, can come up at different points of your life as well. So for me, like I've never actually realized that before, but before I made this move, I was in a place where I was going to work 2-3 times a week, like, and I was constantly surrounded by people. I was obviously working in the nursery, so like I had the staff, I had the children, I had the families, like there was always people around me, and I was always going out to work. I was in coffee shops, I was in cafes, like wherever it was, I was already in that environment. And then that's why it didn't sort of click for me before, because that was natural to me. And then moving here, like I stopped going to coffee shops, I stopped just going out. Like I was literally like hibernating while I was healing, and that is not what I was supposed to do. Talking about hibernation, that's actually part of your design, isn't it?
It actually is, and again makes so much sense because I do love to hibernate. I do love to isolate myself and just it's not good. I don't think it's good, but it's apparently a part
But
of
it
my
works
design.
for
So
you.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel
it's
like
true.
it works for you in like when you balance it. I think that was the key thing that we got from
Mm,
looking into that side of things, because we was like, as much as you're supposed to be around like exchanges of goods and services, you
mhm.
also have that other half of your design where the hibernation is good. And I feel like especially if we go for like actual seasons, it made sense of like the winter seasons, you do end up hibernating more anyway, and like you sort of lock in
Yeah.
a bit more. And then the summer, spring seasons is when you're in those external markets environments, and that works better for you. And
Yeah.
I feel like that was really powerful as well, because I think like hibernation and like all of that has got a bit of a stigma around it anyway. But actually, when you learn that that is part of your design and that's okay to do that, if that season of your life is like telling you to do that, it just takes off that pressure and makes you actually sit there and be like, okay, well, it's fine for me to actually do this.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So for anyone listening who is skeptical, and nearly couldn't get my words out then, about human design, what would you say to them?
Honestly, I would just say give it a go. Like, really, why are you skeptical? Like, what is it that you're actually skeptical about? Because at the end of the day, you're going to know how you work on the inside. You're going to know how you're built from inside. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So I think 100% just give it a go. Just give it a go and see. Like, what have you got to lose? You know?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing I love about human design is that it has got that spiritual side, like you say, but also like it's backed with science. So like everything actually just makes sense as well. Like, so for the people that are skeptical about thinking it's like all this woo-woo shit and all of that, like yes, it has that side of it because it looks into astrology and stuff like that, but also like it's backed by science, and there is nothing that I have found more insightful and more real than human design. Like I love astrology, I love the moons and stuff like that, but sometimes I feel like the messages are just what you feel like you need to hear, and when you read stuff like that, it's like, okay, well then that's obviously what I needed to hear, so I'm going to follow that. But with human design, I feel like it really makes you sit back and think, okay, so this makes sense as to why I want to act in this way and why I want to like embody myself in this way. And with society and stuff like that, like there is so many like stereotypes, norms, and just like ways of doing life that if you go against that, people are like judging you big time, and they're like, what do you think you're doing? That actually like you will then have more success with whatever you want to have success in, whether it's business, career, life, relationships, whatever it is, when you're actually following the path you're supposed to follow and following you as a person. So yeah, I completely agree with that. I think it's one of them things that like, even if you have no idea what it's about, like if you just step into it and just do it, then you'll literally be so shocked. Like I've never had a client walk away and be like, that doesn't sound like me. Everyone's literally sat there and like their jaws have dropped, like because they're just in shock with how much it actually resonates, and then they feel like seen, and they feel like they can then show up as the way they're supposed to show up as well. Okay, so when we was working together, and obviously we still do work a little bit together now as well, what do you feel like the hardest part of the work was? Like the bits that you didn't expect you was going to have to face and go through. So like the real struggles in life and business.
I mean, honestly, I think the realest struggle that I faced was actually just accepting the change, if that makes sense. Like accepting everything was just happening as it was happening, and there was nothing I could do about it. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think sometimes that is the hardest thing, because it's sort of getting comfortable with the uncomfortable and learning to just sit there in the moment and be like, okay, yeah, this is happening right now. I'm going through a really shit time, but also like sit with the present, be grateful for what you do have, and then think, but how is my life going to change for the better because of this? And sometimes you can't actually see that in the moment. Sometimes in that moment, you're like, I know for me, when I went through my breakup, I was such in a state, in the sense of like, I was like, I don't know how my life's going to look. Like I hadn't spoke to my family in 3.5 years. I moved in with my mum after not seeing her for 3.5 years, and we hadn't spoken. Like we was no contact, and it was the most awkward thing ever. And we was both like, this could either go really well or go really shit. Like we didn't know what to expect. And like for me, that was like the biggest decision I'd ever made, because I was like, I've had no contact. I'm literally leaving a whole life I've got behind. Like I'm leaving a job, I'm leaving my friends, I'm leaving everything I know, going to an area I've never even visited before and that I don't know. And having to sit in that moment of the realities of, okay, this is really fucking shit right now, but also this is opening up so many possibilities and so many new doors for me. Felt scary but exciting at the same time. So I can really resonate with that one, because I think for me as well, like that was when I had to really just accept what was actually going on and accept that whatever is meant for me will not pass me by, and I'm supposed to be exactly where I am in that moment in life. How do you feel like you managed to move through that and actually come to terms with accepting where you was at?
Well, exactly what you did. Like, it was just, I had to literally drill into myself that everything that was going to happen no matter what. So I had to accept it. There's nothing I could do about my situation. The only thing I could do was focus on the things that I could control and how I would move forward in that situation. And that, like, helped massively. I was like, you know what? Also, life isn't that serious. I was letting
Exactly.
all these situations like beat me down, and I couldn't see a way out. And I was like, but Char, like, life is not that serious. Like, I can do whatever I want in this life. And then, yeah, that also helped.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like a big one for me as well was actually pouring into myself some more, because what I noticed was when I was in that relationship, I didn't really pour into myself. And I've also had this realization recently that everything I was doing within business, out of business, like, was never actually for me. Like, my goals, my missions were never actually truly mine. It was what I felt like was expected, or what I felt like was the best thing to do and the next best step, and like what I should do because of like societal norms and like all things like that, and as well as like the relationship and stuff like that. So I feel like for me, actually learning to pour back into myself and trust that everything was going to be okay felt like such a big thing to do. But it was also, I think, one of the most pivotal things that I've done, one of the most like magical things I've done, because it really helped me to reconnect with myself and who I'm supposed to be, and tapping into my human design really, really supported me with that as well. When
Mm.
do you feel like at what point do you feel like you were actually starting to live in your own universe? Because obviously we've done the human design reading, we touched on like a lot of like the healing and stuff like that, and I know like we were supporting each other through really shit times at the same
Mhm.
times, and a lot of the stuff like we would say to each other would be like, we need to take our own advice here, like I'm telling you the same thing as what you're telling me, but we needed
Yeah.
to hear it from each other, right? But when do you feel like you actually felt like you was in your own universe, like not in anyone else's, but your own one?
Um, Actually, when I was at my mum's, there was a
Mhm.
point where everything just like lifted. Everything seemed a lighter. Everything seemed that it was all going the right way. And I was like dancing in my room and I was singing. I was like looking in the mirror. It's making me a bit teary. I was looking in the mirror. I was like, fuck, I'm in love with myself. I was like, what in the hell is going on? I fell in love with myself. And then that was the moment I was like, finally, I'm in my own shit. Like, yeah.
I love that, but you're
Yeah.
even making me teary. um,
Stop.
no, I can really relate with that. I can really relate, because like for me, I had that exact same thing of I felt like I was myself again. I felt like I had my spark back, and
Mhm.
everyone was saying that to me. And I was like, oh, do you know what? Like, I actually, for the first time in 6 years, feel like myself again. And I was like, and I never thought I was going to get back there. And
Oh,
throughout those
me
6 years, I would
neither.
always lie to myself and be like, yeah, I'm really happy, I'm really great. And I wasn't. And I was like, I was still in survival mode really fucking badly. And after the breakup for me, like I found things really hard in the sense of like a lot of things were coming through to me. Like I was remembering a lot of shit that happened, and I was
Mm.
realizing how shit I did really feel. And obviously, as we're friends, like there's a lot of things that you know, but I'm not gonna like share publicly. But that was really fucking hard for me, because I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, like I've actually been through shit, man. And I was
Yeah.
like, and then as soon as I started to feel like myself again, like this is the exact same as you, where it's like you're
Mm.
dancing and like you're singing and like you just look at yourself and you're like, like I'm actually in love with myself and life again. And I never thought like I could actually ever be that confident and be that in love with myself again. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing, but it feels so fucking amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that is, yeah.
It's okay.
It's nice to see how like similar paths we're on as well. Like obviously as friends, and we've both worked in each other's containers, like we've become really, really close in the business industry. But like that's what I love about the work I do as well. Like I will never have a client that I don't even class as a friend. Like if I'm working with you, like we're gonna get to know each other on like an actual level as well. Like, and obviously sometimes there is that line of like, but we was friends before working together, so it's fine. So we're going to ask one last question before we go, because I feel like we've been on here for a little while now. But if you hadn't have done this work, if you hadn't have looked into yourself, your human design, done the healing and mindset work that we've gone through, what do you think would have happened? Like, where do you think you would be right now?
2 places, I think. So one, I'd either still be in a relationship that wasn't fulfilling all of my needs and feeling lost in business and unsure and still like dragging things on. Or I would be maybe still at my mum's, single, but still not working on myself, still confused, still unaligned in business, still trying to make something work that wasn't working. So I guess kind of like the same thing, but either still in a relationship or single and not working on myself. Like, you know.
Yeah, so essentially like the umbrella of it was that not working on your from that deeper level and still feeling like shit within yourself, essentially. Like whether you're in that relationship, out of that relationship, wherever you are environmentally or whoever you're actually with, what do you feel like is different now then?
Life just feels lighter. Like I have stronger boundaries within myself. I take less shit. I know what I want. I am more relaxed with myself as well. Like I don't put as much pressure on myself. I enjoy my slow mornings and I don't feel guilty for it. I don't know. Yeah.
I love that. And I feel like that's just got to lead me onto this question. I know we said the other one was the last one, but it's going to lead me onto this. Like, what do you know now, like about the way that you're living and like how you feel, whatever it might be, that you wish someone had told you at the beginning? So at the very beginning, when it felt really hard, when you was making those really difficult decisions and going through a time when you literally felt like, is this going to fucking work out? What do you wish someone could have told you, or your future self, like sitting here today, could have gone back in time to tell you?
I would go back to tell my old self to stop being silly. Like, it's going to hurt because obviously, you're going to be leaving everything you knew to be true. But it's all going to be worth it and it's all going to work out. And you've always had 100% of proof that everything has always worked out for you. And this time is no different.
Yeah, I love that so much. I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the Golden Ticket Pod, and thank you for being our first guest expert session. It has been absolutely amazing. That's okay. And honestly, it's been so nice to hear more of your journey as well, and like actually like refinding yourself and refinding your spark again, because it's something that I'm just so passionate about. Like for someone that was in survival mode for so long, for so many years, that literally like I literally cannot remember like 70% of my life. Sometimes it feels like even childhood, like past 6 years, whatever it is. And then I'm like, wow, like fucking hell, like you don't realize you're in those places until you're out of them, I don't think. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, being vulnerable and sharing your story. It was absolutely, and I know the listeners are going to love this so much.